it really does come down to the fact that like this behavior from Zagabond was in time and time again has been completely inexcusable.
Too many influencers hold the bag, so that's what it comes down to, man. Because like that's where you're going to see it first. You're going to see all the influencers who are either want to say "I told you so" or want to do the virtue signal and get out. But too many people hold too much, and it's just they can't let it go.
Yep, too big to fail. What's up, guys? It is September 22nd, 2022, and it has been a week since we've done an episode of Exit Liquidity, so I think we thought, why not jump back on like we do every Thursday and record episode number 9. We are considerably less dirty this week as we've actually just fired Dirty Milk from the show. He doesn't even know it yet. He's probably going to watch this and start editing it and be like, wait, what? But he's gone. He's gone for good. No, I'm just kidding. He is feeling under the weather, as happens from time to time with people, but we're going to run it regardless without him. So it is just yours truly, and of course, a drip call from an undisclosed safe house somewhere in the northern hemisphere. What's going on, man?
What's up? What's up? Yeah, I've been traveling the last couple of days. I'm exhausted and in a very random setup, but hey, we're making it happen.
Well, you guys turned the air conditioning on, but just enough time to get like a nice glossy, sheen over your face first. But yeah, it's hot where you are.
Yeah, it's getting hot here. Yeah.
Today, I actually wore pants outside, and I'm glad I did. It was starting to get like, it almost looked like there was like not snow, but like I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't snow.
Frost.
No, it was raining, but it was like really light rain. Like you could kind of see it moving in like a non-straight path. So I don't know, but we are getting into fall. I guess today is technically the first day of fall as well. So summer is over. Sol summer came and went with Solana summer came and went with a whimper.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it went out with a bang. I mean, we do have something is Sol related coming later in this episode.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, before we get into the episode, I do want to just suggest that if anyone's listening and enjoys the content that we've been putting out, just hit the like button, the subscribe button if you're not. It helps us out. We do appreciate it a lot. And also want to give a shout out to Drip Cult again, exitliquidity.io for our newsletter. That goes out twice a week, and it's just a great read. Like, I pop it open every morning on my toilet when I wake up and do my thing and want to get my bi-weekly dose of Web3 news. So always appreciate the hard work that you've been putting in on that, man.
That is not the image I needed ever in my life, but here we are.
Well, deal with it. I think that's a compliment. I mean, that morning time is valuable, right?
Fair enough. I'll give you that one.
You're going to spend, 45 minutes on the toilet. You might as well do something productive with it, right?
45. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you do.
All right. Yeah. Well, on that note, let's actually get into the meat of the conversation here. Going to pop open the screen, do the quick crypto recap, and surprise, surprise, it's not great out there. Over the last week since we've been on the show, Ethereum down 21.2%. Sitting at just below 1,300, and there's no reason why it's not going to go down further. The merge is behind us. Everything seems to be going well, and of course, because it's going well, it's not really that exciting. And as it turns out, maybe a sell the news event, but also macro hasn't been looking great. Bitcoin down decidedly less, but 6% on the week, sitting at 19,000, and the inflation print came in hot. Was it the interest rates going up 75 basis points? We kind of are where we are right now. The macro scene in Russia and Ukraine might be heating up again. I think we're just in a risk-off situation, and we're just going to have to ride that wave. I don't know. Like, are you seeing anything else? What, are you optimistic about anything for the next little bit? Not anything, but I mean in terms of like
yeah, I know what you mean. Like, no, I think we see triple digits again before we see 2K. But I don't know. From the beginning of this, since the beginning of the bear, I should say, I've been pretty pessimistic on prices. I was kind of surprised we actually got back to 2K for the little bit that we did. So,
Yeah, I mean, these markets are ruthless. The stock market is ruthless in and of itself. And then, of course, crypto is basically just that on crack. It will do everything it can to shake out all but the, most hardened holders of, Ethereum, Bitcoin, the NFTs. And it won't be until, things are at its bleakest. And as funny as it sounds, because it got bleak out there, it wasn't like pure full blown like everybody's like this is dead. Like there were a lot of people who were like, okay, we'll hit triple digits and then we'll bounce back. Like it's all good. Like it's only until like it's a nuclear wasteland out there. Hypothetically, of course.
Oh,
Um,
jeez, I did.
yeah, well, I just mentioned that like macro, like in the world is getting bad, and then I made that analogy. Yeah, maybe just edit that out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. We got a bit to go, but I'm gonna pull up Dune here, and yeah, as I mentioned, NFT volumes not doing so hot too. Just been a steady downward trend. We're almost through September here, and I unless something crazy happens, there's no way we're even going to top August, which was way down from July, which was way down from et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We got some work to do here, but I mean, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Definitely still some buying opportunities in this ecosystem, right? Like, I don't think if you're sitting on liquid, it's not everything is down and out. And of course, it doesn't really matter what the price of ETH is when you're talking about NFTs because really we're just basing them in one ETH equals one ETH. And, in bull runs and all that stuff, yeah, maybe 5K ETH plays a different factor in it. But right now, like, I think they're kind of on their own trajectory. And if you're looking to stack ETH, there has definitely been some huge wins in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rango showed us that there's still plenty of volume out there. I mean, it's down a little bit from where it was end of last week, but still, I mean, there's other projects that are just still absolutely ripping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you want to talk about a little bit of volume. This morning, Fidenza Friday on a Thursday, 682 ETH sweep of
Yeah,
Fidenzas. Almost 15% of the OpenSea volume went through on this one
dude, that is
sweep. And I mean, we talk about generative art kind of being ripe for the next wave and whatnot. This wallet, obviously, betting on that being the case. I don't even know what that is, and that's basically about $1 million. If I'm doing the quick mental math quickly, probably
me too.
in that ballpark. But there was some speculation that it was the Museum of Modern Art loading up on it. Loopify went on to clarify that anybody that thinks it's the Museum of Modern Art, the wallet owns 110 loot NFTs purchased at a price of 2.2 to 4 ETH. Do what you will with that information. I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing loot NFTs hanging on the walls of the Museum of Modern
Dude,
Art, but
I don't know. Like, what gets more like contemporary than a piece of digital art that is just a list? I mean, wasn't that one guy who I don't think he was in the Museum of Modern Art, but there's that one dude in New York who basically took people's Instagram pictures and had a whole gallery show that just disrupted the entire scene off that. I mean, this
well,
itself, if MoMA hung this in the gallery in the museum, like I could see people going like, "What?" and also other people going like, "This is genius," like this is totally a MoMA move. I could see it. I doubt it. I could see it. Like,
you might be able to like convince me if we were talking about Blute here, like with the cock rings and stuff.
ooh,
Like
yeah. Good point. Good point. Good point.
maybe a little more out there. I just actually had an interesting thought, and it hadn't even crossed my mind with the advent of all of this AI art that's going on. Do you think somebody's just going to feed all of these loot NFTs into an AI generated art and then produce? Like that'd be pretty cool, actually.
That would
Is
actually
it?
be sick. I don't think it was on anyone's radar. I think you might have just put it on everyone's radar, and someone's going to do it and make a lot of money off of it and be like, "Thanks for the idea." But yeah, that
Okay,
would
I'm gonna
actually be sick. I could see
I'm
that.
gonna get cracking on this right
Yeah, there
now.
you go.
And
Get it going.
damn, what have I done? But no, that be. I mean, I think that was kind of always in the view or the idea of like what these things were based on, to be able to use for on chain gaming and I don't know. But loot definitely had its moment. I wonder we should have looked this up first. But what is the floor price of loot these days?
I have no idea.
Let me pull up a tab here. and check
1.18.
1.18.
Yeah. Well, on OpenSea it's 1.2, but yeah, the
Damn,
overall
that's actually holding up pretty good for
what it is.
yeah,
I mean,
fantastic stuff.
like, what do you think? What do you think this person like? Are they the person who bought these Fidenzas? Are they trying to preserve capital? Are they trying to get in front of the next bull rush? Like, what is the move here? Like, I've been trying to think about this since I saw this.
Um, I mean, you never know what somebody's situation. I mean, maybe they just found a wallet with an extra 1,000 ETH in it. Like, I don't know. I mean, you can go on chain and see where that money came from and how long it's been sitting there for. Like, what the motivation is. I do think that a lot of these legacy generative art uh, has substantial staying power in terms of their importance and their relevance in it, right? Like generative art seems to hold a very special place in like the Kevin Roses portfolio, like of the world, the Kevin Roses of the world portfolio. I mean, they're really bullish on this stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if this wallet was at least somebody in proximity to that kind of crew, right? Because if you listen to the Proof podcast, like it's what they talk about all the time. You know, they have that conversation with Snowfro. They're just always talking about sniping squiggles or this generative art project, that generative art project. I wouldn't be surprised if this was somebody in that realm.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, hey, if I had to bet on a way to, if I had to spend my ETH and I had to bet on something to not lose it all, or at least lose little amounts, I would go Fidenzas as well, or Ringers, one of the two.
Yeah. Oh, ringers, really? Eh?
I'm pretty sure they're still holding up pretty well. I haven't looked at them in a while, but I mean, like historically, it's been like Fidenzas and Ringers. Like, what was the other one? It's like autoglyphs, I believe. It's like the circles. Like,
Autoglyphs are like the OG generative
yeah,
art, like, and those are like the incredibly high. I can pull it up on WGMI, but the floor price on that is 250. I mean, they don't move very often. Not one is sold in the last
it's
month.
hyper liquid, but hey, I mean, at the same time, once that
I
market
mean,
comes,
that's the definition of the traditional art market, though, right? It's not like you just throw a Monet out there and somebody snags it, right? Like it's a process just to move it.
Mhm.
Incredibly enough, Justin Aversano's Twin Flames collection, crossing autoglyphs, 274 ETH floor. Wow,
Holy,
I haven't
I had no
haven't
idea.
looked at. I love how the best offer is 8.1. I haven't looked at this collection in a long time, but that is
And
something.
that is wild.
Oh, this is just, you know what? This is just like a listing thing.
Okay.
They are like 3 days ago, one sold for 60 ETH, 55 ETH. I think it's
Still living.
probably just a function of like them not being listed.
Yeah, it could be. Hey, I mean, collectors want to like you. If you're buying something like that, like you're a
Yeah.
collector, you're planning on holding it. That is a long-term hold. You're not trying to flip that. Like that's just not.
Yeah, and most of these are probably negotiated in private, like what the sale price actually is. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
there's only 7 of them listed, so that would explain it. But
Yeah.
still 60, 70 ETH for photography NFT. And that's, you know what, that's something we're going to have to talk about eventually too, is photography NFTs. We don't give that enough love on this. We talk about PFPs, we talk about the games, we talk about the generative art, but photography is definitely going to
And
hold a space in this too.
absolutely that and music NFTs too. I think we rarely talk about those, but that is an emerging space as well within NFTs.
Yeah, a lot of notable musicians always participating in the NFT space, so it's
Mhm.
pretty hard to believe that won't come around full circle too. Music NFTs was one of those conversations that at the beginning of the year we were all pretty sure where it's going to have a moment this year.
Mhm.
I think that is basically just trumped by the fact that nothing's really having a moment this year. So we'll give it a pass, but it's definitely an industry that's ripe for disruption and kind of Web3ifying, I guess.
Absolutely.
Let's get into the next news article here, and this was SEC claims that all of Ethereum falls under U.S. jurisdiction. This is a wild claim.
This is so
Uh, Basically, this all started when the SEC was going after crypto influencer Ian Bellina. This was a name that I hadn't heard in a long time, but was a very, very prominent name back in 2017, 2018, which is actually what the lawsuit is kind of or not the law, yeah, federal lawsuit is going back to his promotion of an ICO where he was apparently paid $5 million to pump this ICO to his, several 100,000 followers on YouTube and
My
Twitter.
initial thought, dude, like sign me up. I want 5 million to promote something, but after seeing this, like, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what the jail time is on this or whatever. Like
Very true.
I mean, anytime the SEC shows up at your door, you're not in for a good time, right?
No, no.
This claim, though, is pretty wild. I'm going to pull up a tweet here from Adam Cochran. Just basically said, wow, the SEC had an easy potential win here that none of the crypto world would have complained about, going after a token pumper for promoting to US customers. Instead, they shoehorned in an argument that all of ETH transactions are in the US because of the higher node density there. I'm going to jump back to this article and go back to their quote, basically saying currently 45.85% of all Ethereum nodes operate from the United States, according to Etherscan. The second greatest density is in Germany with only 19%. They are basically arguing that because the majority of transactions happen within the US, that Ethereum is a US based security and that they should have jurisdiction over all of it. That treating it like a United States securities exchange could have huge implications over crypto in the world. I don't know how much staying power this argument has, but I mean they're going for it. They're
They're
swinging
going
for the
for it.
fences on
Yeah.
this
I
one.
mean, hey, if they can shoehorn this in, they can set the precedent. So I think that's probably what they're going for. I don't see it being accepted. Then again, crazier things have happened. So, but that is a bold claim, like so bold.
Yeah, and I mean going back to that point in the tweet, like if they were going after Ian Bellina, I think it would have been an easy. I don't want to say win, but like the case to make for it was pretty easy. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he's an American citizen, but or there's no doubt that he at least used YouTube, an American-based platform, to
Mhm.
sell to American citizens, right? Which is what the SEC regulates on. But now, yeah, basically all of crypto in their mind is going to be regulated by the SEC. I wonder what kind of like pushback the rest of the world has on this too, because extradition laws is country by country, and it'll make a difference. But
Dude, yeah. I mean, you can't rule that out. Like, no country wants to be against or on the bad side of the U.S. As well. There's a few other countries too, but like mainly the U.S. Like so you want to play ball like that. That again, yeah, that opens up a whole different can of worms, which is pretty crazy too. Yeah, that's that's actually really wild. That and like I don't know. I know obviously regulation for cryptocurrency is coming eventually. So it's just like I don't know if they're trying to set themselves up for future wins or what this is, but it's just so wild.
yeah, part of me wonders. I've talked about this in the past of that maybe crypto and like Web3 stuff needs its own regulatory body because the SEC is an old legacy government body that um, is probably not equipped to deal with the specific nuance to crypto and how quickly it moves and all of the different functionality that it has. Right, there's a huge argument over whether Ethereum is a security or not. Now there's a lot of argument that with the merge it has become a security, but I just I wonder if this is just the SEC trying to like grab that power very quickly before more governing bodies can actually be formed to regulate it. I don't know if that's in their benefit or not, but I would assume that if now they have to regulate over all of crypto, the funding for the SEC gets higher. I don't know. This is a really interesting thing, but it's
Yeah,
a bold strategy, Cotton.
it is bold. I mean, with how global crypto is, I don't see what the SEC could do. I mean, again, like if the U.S. government wants to do something, they're going to do it. So, and no one's probably going to stop them. So who knows? But it does make it more interesting too, like you said, with staking. I mean, before with like with proof of work, like you could have potentially had a cornered the market, like saying my nodes are not based in the U.S., but with staking, it definitely changes things. So it's like I
Well, and
don't know how.
Coinbase being an American company and having like a lot of ETH in their bag being staked, right? Like I
Yeah,
guess that's probably pushing it over the limit or over the threshold. But I mean, maybe now it's just this incentive to start, the decentralization of the nation, people starting to stake in other it's so fascinating because the US doesn't hold a majority, like they're under a 50% threshold, but they're
mm,
basically just arguing because we do more than anybody else. But then, like, do they relinquish control if China is just like all of a sudden like, nope, we're going to do that then, right? Like, is the SEC going to be like, oh, here you go, like it's yours now?
yeah,
No.
dude. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how that plays out. I don't know. Like it's such a weird precedent to set if they do.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to just turn into a lot of hot air, but we'll see. I don't know. Who makes that ruling? I guess it would be the court system, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the government, again, they can do whatever they want. So.
Yeah, being like, I own the moon. Like, I don't know. I do now. I said it out loud. Stop me. And speaking of like just old traditional entities, Jamie Dimon, of course, of JP Morgan, back at it again, saying crypto tokens, Bitcoin are just decentralized Ponzi schemes. To which I say, isn't everything just a Ponzi scheme? Like, are we past that yet?
Guy's such a kook. Like I feel like he's lost like so much credibility with like his takes on crypto, and like over the years, he's just wrong almost every single time. I mean, like maybe the dude's good at headlines. I mean, obviously here we are talking about him. He's getting in all the news cycles. Like, I don't know. Maybe J.P. Morgan's just trying to promote something, and because it's just like they flip flop so much. If you look at their record, and who knows, maybe he's bummed about his competitors creating a crypto exchange, and now he's just trying to stay relevant. I have no idea. Like the dude is just so kooky.
He does continually double down on his stance that like crypto is just like toxic and just to be avoided at all cost. He is somewhat bullish on the concept of blockchain as a technology, as JP Morgan does actually use it, but not in the cryptocurrency sense. But I mean, we just constantly see the desire for adoption and to own these. Like I talk to people pretty regularly that are, older, and they're just like, I really should just have some of this stuff, right? Like, even if they're just talking about allocating 1 or 2% of their portfolio, like, this is retirees, this, and like talking about leaving, having something to leave for, their children or in their estate or something like that, right? And it's just a small fraction of it, but when you add up all of these people that are trying to get onboarded and need these centralized authorities to have the products to do so, JP Morgan may be falling behind a little bit in the times. Goldman Sachs has the trading desk now. What were the other competitors? You mentioned a few. Like, they're all moving into this. It is weird that
And
JP Morgan is just like,
Charles
nope.
Schwab. Yeah,
Yeah.
it also could be. I mean, I get it, dude. Like, why go from a rigged game to an on-rigged game? I mean, he has so much regulation and so much buying power, so to speak, with their capital. Like, why risk it? Like, they can guarantee wins versus going into a global market where they don't have the SEC or whoever backing them in their plays when like when Wall Street bets or whoever goes against them. So like,
I guess this is also kind of just a hedge against crypto too, like in a big way with, their bank. Like, if all of their competitors offer crypto and crypto just absolutely shits the bed and goes to zero, which I don't think anybody listening to this believes.
no,
But
I just had
JP
another
Morgan
idea
then looks
too.
like a genius. So,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I had another idea. Maybe he's trying to corner the anti-crypto market because I mean, I can imagine a lot of his customers are older. They're in that demographic. They probably only see headlines about crypto because I mean, most, like you said, most people that are older that talk about it, they have no idea what they're talking. They're talking about. They don't have the time or energy or interest to invest into learning about it. So maybe he's just trying to corner that market and just double down.
it's actually fascinating because you said the anti crypto market, and then all of a sudden I was like, is there one now? Like, I know that anti-crypto people do exist, but the large majority of the ones that I see on my day-to-day basis actually just exists on Reddit, which is a younger demographic.
I mean,
It's weird. Like
definitely. I
I
mean,
see a lot of people just now comfortable with the idea that it exists and that it is a real thing.
yeah, oh, absolutely. I think there's still a ton of anti-crypto. I mean, I think it's just more lack of education on it from certain people, like or for an older demographic. But again, that's not a long-term strategy. I mean, that group is, as humans do, they eventually pass, and the younger groups and younger generations are coming out and they're 100% invested and interested in crypto. I mean, when you break it down, like what else are they going to put their money into? Like we know the stock market's rigged. We saw what happened with GameStonks and how the retail investors are screwed out of everything. The housing market is just upside down. Like most young people can't get into it. Like what else are they going to go into? Crypto. Like they see. I think you were talking about it, before the episode. Like they see those heroic stories of people investing in the ship and going, turning into billionaires overnight.
Yeah.
Like that's like what younger people see and want.
Yeah. I mean, it's often viewed as like the one of the ways that they're actually going to catch up in a world that they feel has left them behind. And one of the reasons why that like I'm bullish on this industry as a whole is just that there just seems to be a necessity to do things in a different way. And I think that demand and that desire is just festering. And as we look at the macro situation, as we look at inflation going crazy, as we look at people being left out of the housing market, like you just said, there's going to be this deep-seated desire for something different, right? And
Absolutely.
I think that the natural progression is into that, whether you believe it's fantasy fairy tale money or not. Like that's actually not for you to decide, because people like the large masses of people are the ones that decide what has value. I mean, Pokemon cards are valuable because a
Yeah.
lot of people like them. There's no real value to a Pokemon card. It's just a game
Yeah.
that people have decided is good enough and enjoyable enough, and there's some kind of scarcity built into it that these things actually do have value, right?
So true.
So, just to say that it doesn't and that it doesn't exist is very, very short-sighted, narrow-minded, however you want to put it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, let's let's talk about Azuki. We mentioned a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was even last week, about Doodles getting the huge fundraising round of they bagged I think $54 million on a $700 million valuation. We kind of did
That's
the who's the next up. Yeah, Azuki is your winner, right? Like
yeah.
they did it. Azuki creator closed in on a $30 million fundraise. Chiru Labs, creator of the Azuki NFT collection, is closing in on a $30 million Series A raise. The round comes just a week after, so I guess it was last week, after fellow NFT project Doodles bagged $54 million from VCs. This is crazy to me. This is valued at $300 to $400 million. The craziest part was I was actually surprised that Doodles raised at a higher value, or Doodles raised at a higher valuation than Azuki. But I think you have a pretty good take on this.
Dude, I mean, one, it just solidifies the ultimate. People don't care; they just want to make money. But yeah, I think Suzuki would have absolutely raised more if the whole Zagabond situation didn't happen. I mean, that's if you're coming in and investing, into a project like that's not what you want to see. That's the exact opposite of what you want to see. However, it has shown that people don't care. They don't care what Zagabond did. They don't care that he, rugged 3 projects, pretended to be a woman. There's actually campaigns out there right now claiming that he didn't do any of that, which is obviously false because if you listen to the spaces, he admitted to all of it. But regardless, like I think they would have fetched way more if they didn't have all that Zagabond baggage
So,
with it.
so that's a potentially a $400 million hit to their cap.
Dude, absolutely. Yeah. 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 I mean, who knows?
Pretty wild when you put it like that.
Yeah, there's still a chance that someone else they see this raise and someone else comes knocking with another couple 100 million, but their clauses get zag out, but it's always a possibility.
Has he officially still with the project? Like, as
Yeah,
as
no,
far
he's
as we
still
know,
full
right?
on.
Like,
Yeah, dude, he's still part of the project. the groupies are still, on Twitter defending him and saying he's the best thing that happened. So yeah, I don't know.
Pretty hard to believe that, if Azuki hadn't taken off the way that it did, that it probably would have just been a rug too, right? Like this was just the one that stuck, and he's like, all right, like got a winner. I know people do this with companies all the time, but like you're not out there posing as a female founder to try and get it off the off the ground and whatnot. So
Well, okay, it was a female team member, and they had a very little role, so therefore it doesn't count.
oh,
That's the argument. It's mind blowing. Like that, people are okay with that. Like,
but there is an
people are
argument.
just they're just holding their bags and clutching their pearls so tight, dude. Like it's just like, come on, man. Like you can't see how ridiculous that sounds, but whatever. You do you.
Yeah, everyone loves a good controversy. I don't like. It really does come down to the fact that like this behavior from Zagabond was, in time and time again, has been completely inexcusable for projects that weren't worth 10 ETH, 20 ETH, 40 ETH at one point, right? Like flipping on like a lot of notable projects, just absolutely crushing it on the scene. If this had been, 0.75 floor, they would have just been torched to the ground. We've seen it time and time again. Like it happens. They'd be kicked out.
Too many influencers hold the bag, so that's what it comes down to, man. Like if you see like because like that's where you're going to see it first. You're going to see all the influencers who are either want to say "I told you so" or want to do the virtue signal and get out. But too many people hold too much, and it's just they can't let it go.
Yep. Too big to fail. I mean, I guess a lot of people would say like the Elon thing too, right? Like his actions should be and I'm not saying that, but like you will hear that narrative of like, oh, this is the founder of a $1 trillion company, like, and he's out there on Twitter shit posting. He doesn't care. I guess that's not really an equivalency though, because he's not like.
And I never want that to end. I love Elon shit posting. I mean, dude, like, come on, any billionaire posting fucking anime memes, like, I'm here for it all day.
Well, Azuki actually just flipped Moonbirds for the first time since May as well. It's been on a pretty good run over the last week, 7 ETH to 11 ETH looks like. Right now, sitting at a floor of 11.5. And, it actually seems to me that like VC is the next meta, right? Like you get this bag of VC funding and you're good, you're set, you're made. You're now a real project.
Right? I think you should. I spent my time writing about how storytelling meta might be the next phase, but I think you're right. VC is the next meta. Like you're not a project until you got your VC raise in.
Yep, that's just it. I mean, hey, getting a large influx of liquidity does help you, run a company. It's why people raise money in the first place. So, yeah. But, Azuki going on a bit of a run, Beans doing all right. Beans at 1.1, like.
I figured they'd be a little higher.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say, right? Like, is this a good opportunity here? I mean, 20K collection, but it's part of Azuki. So
they had normally last week.
Normally you look for that to be, about the 20-25% of the OG floor price, right? Yeah. I actually like the Beans too.
I like the Beans too. Yeah, it's just it's bear market, man. I think people are just too afraid right now. Because I mean, even like what did we see? We saw like Cool Cats announce their new CEO, and that really didn't do anything either. I mean, you saw a little blip, but like, I just don't like news right now. Just isn't.
It wasn't VC funding.
Yeah, it's just like everyone's so bearish that I don't think anyone is just really willing to risk it.
And then, of course, their Boba the Bean Farmer. That's actually up 100% in the last week too. So if you were sitting on a little bag of those, you've done a-okay.
I also wonder how much there's just so much there still is the free mint meta happening and all the botters. Like there's so much less risk in spending 0.1 ETH picking up a couple hundred of these free things and versus spending a couple ETH on something you might get stuck bag holding.
I've got stuck bag holding a lot this bear market, so I can empathize with that. Oh, Drip Cult is gone. So.
Oh,
welcome back.
Yeah, sorry, the internet here just is not like it is at home. But did you hear what I was talking about with Heads though? I think was Heads a free mint?
I don't really remember. I can probably pull that up real quick,
I
but like
know,
Heads is a project that's been absolutely ripping it up right
yeah,
now.
it was botted pretty hard though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But all that to say, yeah, I guess it's not too surprising that Azuki got a raise, but dang, like once again, community, no thank you. Money, yes, please.
Yeah, Heads by Matt Fury. Sorry, I was just pulling that up. Oh, wow,
Oh,
still
okay.
running.
No, okay,
1.8.
that's completely different. Completely different then. Yeah, Matt
Yeah.
Fury, Pepe Legacy. Yeah, that's very different story. I don't know if that
Yeah,
was.
pretty. They minted for 0.06 or no 0.66 3 days ago. So that was a
Okay,
big mint, but
never mind. And I'm horribly off on that one.
still doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Huh.
dude. Yeah,
Interesting.
that was one of the whitelists to get onto. If you can get on that one, you're going to guarantee to print. But I
Yeah, they're
remember
moving.
talking about that. But it was the Matt Fury's new project. I don't think it officially had a name when I was looking at that.
I kind of want one of these. I feel like this is going to be like I wake up and it's like 80th floor.
That's
Um,
rolled out.
all right, let's get into the Solana ecosystem. OK Bears has just announced that they signed with IMG, that's International Marketing Group, the world's #1 licensing agency, managing over $15 billion in annual retail sales for the world's biggest brands. IMG looks to unlock our brand's potential through strategic product licensing and collaborations. This is actually pretty big. I mean,
Huge.
this is a Solana project getting the nod from the biggest marketing, licensing, branding agency in the world. It's on their website. They manage. I mean, the list of names is absolutely endless, and like it's so hard that like you can't even just find it on one list. But we're talking about huge tennis players, golf. Like where do
Dude,
I even start?
speaking of golf, Linkstyle, they actually partner with IMG Prestige. And dude, if you hold a Linkstyle, dude, I'm a Linkstyle maxi. Like, yeah, full disclosure, I'm all about it. I hold like if you have a Linkstyle membership token, like you get access to IMG Prestige golf courses all over the world. Like they have a representative. You can straight up just call them up or just email them, and like, dude, you can be playing on a private golf course within a week or two. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
crazy. I'm not once again. But anyway, not ING's first endeavor into this space, but dude, this is insane. The amount of like talent and branding and licensing that they control is freaking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like Novak Djokovic, Naomi Osaka, the Serena sisters, the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena, like that's just in tennis. When you start to go into the other brands, like what did they announce? Like Lego,
Yeah, dude, they represent Fortnite, Lego, like
Fortnite.
dude, yeah, all kinds of different Angry Birds, like Assassin's Creed, but that's so random. But okay, yeah, dude, they
If
have all kinds of partnerships. It's insane.
if Dirty Milk was here, he'd be nerding out over like the esports division. I mean, Dignitas,
Absolutely.
Cloud9, SK Gaming. You know those names if you are in esports. So I think the excitement here is again what they said: the collaborative prospects of this. Maybe OK Bears makes it into Fortnite. Like that would be pretty wild, right? Like, what
Super
does
wild.
that do
I
for?
wonder I wonder now that we're sitting here thinking about it, like why they chose a Solana project, but given how much VC money's in Solana, it actually makes a lot of sense. I can imagine someone has connections with somebody here, like because
No doubt.
why? Yeah, because I could see them partnering or picking like an established like Ethereum chain like project, but going Solana. I mean, I guess it has first mover advantage, like being the first one
Yeah,
to
I
partner.
was I was wondering if that was just like their entrance point. Like we're going to capture this market where like the Gaio series of the world are already in the Ethereum
Very true.
ecosystem. So yeah, it could just be front running the fact that I would look for like maybe Utes now. Utes is it could be prime for the picking the
Gods and
next
Utes.
VC raise, right?
I mean, hey, if they can ever get their artwork out, like, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe fumble in the bag a little bit there, but I don't know.
absolutely.
IMG, this is a big deal and definitely something to watch out for. And I hate it because every time I talk about these, I'm like, I should go buy some Solana. I should go start participating in this ecosystem. And of course, I
Yes.
don't.
I'd be preaching to the choir, preaching to the choir.
All right. Well, on that note, let's talk a little bit about like what we're looking forward to. Not looking forward to it in like an excitement term, but like where we're starting to look to park some of our liquidity if you haven't already, right? Like I know in the past on this show we've talked about, like I talked about Cool Man's Universe. I bought a bunch of Cool Man's Universe. I know I mentioned. Purchasing a Clone X kind of on the back of that LeBron James kind of not really news, but there might be something there. Surprised that didn't gain more traction, but
Weird.
what's the next thing you're looking at? What are we excited about?
Man, I the only thing that I'm genuinely excited and looking at as far as investments is ApeCoin. Like it's all ApeCoin for me. I've been like for the last few weeks I've been swing trading it and just acquiring some. So yeah, full disclosure, I am a holder. So you're gonna hear a pitch from me as someone as a holder. But realistically, like it's such a smart investment. And my general investment thesis on this entire thing is, an investment into ApeCoin is just a bet on Yuga Labs.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I'm concerned, Yuga Labs, Bored Apes, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be probably the pillar into the NFT space. But a lot has actually happened in the last 2 days. I've been traveling for the last 2 days, so I haven't been able to keep up on everything. And I really wanted to get something out into the newsletter for people who subscribe because it's such a good investment opportunity. But staking is coming. The rumors have been circulating back in July. The Bored Ape Gazette had an interview and they said that they were going to release staking in autumn of some time. However, it is officially going to go live October 31st. So they were supposed to have a spaces yesterday, or was that today? I can't remember. Um, and they were going to announce it, but they had to reschedule that one. But they still announced that staking is coming. But I mean, hey, if you don't have 75 ETH to get a Bored Ape, or what are mutants at right now? Like 15?
I think in the 10 to 15
They're,
range.
yeah,
Yeah.
14, 15 ETH. I mean, hey, a $4 to $5 token. I think the ApeCoin right now is just under 6. Yeah, like 589. Like, man, it's such an easy buy in my opinion, and it's probably one of the like most risk averse investments you can make into the space right now, especially if you're looking at a longer
Into
term.
NFTs specifically.
Yeah, NFT. Sorry, NFT and crypto. Yeah, but yeah, if you're looking at it in a long term horizon, man, there's no way that Bored Apes and Yuga don't integrate it in everything they do. Like especially with the upcoming other side metaverse, like it's such an easy purchase and hold for me. But obviously, you got to DYOR. Not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor, but like, man, throw a couple $100 at that, hold it for a few years, like that's easy win in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the nice thing about coins is like it's a little bit easier to DCA into as well. Like you
Oh,
don't have
absolutely.
to just go buy a full NFT at full asking price, right? Like if you want to throw a little bit into that,
I'm gonna say, yeah, it's also on Coinbase. So yeah,
yeah.
you can set up auto buys if you're on Coinbase. Like, yeah, it's dude, yeah, you can set it and forget it. If you 30 to $50 every week, like
Yeah,
over.
I don't own any ApeCoin. I again, this is one of those ones that I constantly like think that I should, and then I
Yeah,
look at the price and I'm like, well, it's actually gone on a good run. Why would I buy now? It was as recently just as low as $4, and I think obviously the news of staking kind of being on the
yeah,
horizon is pushing this up, especially in the midst of like ETH coming kind of down in price and an overall tumble in the market, sitting at number 34 on the CoinGecko list for market cap. I've often said that I see no reason why this can't be a top 10 coin. Like I really
absolutely.
just don't. It's as you said, they're going to use this to power their entire ecosystem. They're not going to forget about the fact that ApeCoin exists. I think that they made a big misstep in making the other side mint in ApeCoin, but I believe like the intention was there, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. if they decide to do that again or not. But anytime that they announce that there's going to be something in the Yuga ecosystem that's unlockable through ApeCoin, it's going to go on a run. But again, if they have this whole metaverse that they're building towards, like, what do you think? They're going to use Bitcoin as the transactional currency? You think they're going to use Ethereum as the transactional currency? No, they're going to use ApeCoin, right? Like
Absolutely.
it has to be used. Roblox has their Robux. I mean, it's not a cryptocurrency, but they have a coin, a token that powers their ecosystem, and all of the purchases that you make, even though you're buying that in real dollars, are done through Robux,
Mhm.
right? It just makes sense that they're going to power their ecosystem with this coin. And as more of them get used, you would presume that the higher the value becomes. It doesn't get burned. Like, we've already established that there's no burning mechanism in this, but you would imagine that a percentage of these kind of get locked back up into their own wallet, and not distributed regularly. So yeah, I mean, I see a ton of potential in the long term value of ApeCoin, and yeah, you know what? Rather than just using my like actual crypto bag, I might actually just set a Coinbase
There you go.
recurring purchase of like 50, $100 a week or something, and just start stacking ApeCoin
Yeah.
from the outside, right? Like, if this is going to be a top 10 coin, it has to increase in value against ETH. It doesn't have to, but like the odds are that it will, right?
Yeah. And the other thing too is if you're looking to make an investment in it within the next month or so when staking comes, remember they just announced staking, so like and an official date. So like there's some rumor and news and what all that's going to turn out to be and look like. So that's kind of like in the price right now. So it did get over like it got to like $6.30 with all this news. So it's pulled back a little bit. So consider that when investing. Also, there's going to be a token unlock. I'm not sure if that's in the next couple of days or not, but there's about 25 million ApeCoins getting unlocked, which is about 8% of the holdings or 8% of the circulating supply. So like consider that too. So might dilute a little bit, but just note, yeah. But if you dollar cost average in, you'll probably be fine. So again, this is like a long term thing for me. Like there's no way like that Yuga goes anywhere unless some crazy thing. Maybe Ryder is finally right and is proven correct. I highly doubt it. But long term, like I don't think you see under five again, in my opinion.
Hard to say with the type of market that we're in right now, but
Fair
yeah.
enough, actually. Yeah, actually, great point. Forgot about that. Yeah, so you might actually get a better deal later on, but who knows?
But again, if you're using ETH to buy, like right now, the ratio is very low in the sense that like Ape is very high against ETH right now because it's been going up and ETH has been coming down. So that's why I kind of like the prospect of getting in with just dollar value, right? Like just putting
Yeah,
some of my actual liquidity, my real life liquidity back into it. So yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm right there with you. Uh, I'm personally like looking at 10KTF, which is a project I talk about here and there. I This is crazy to me because I just realized that 10KTF launched on September 17th, 2021. And I did buy one of the high top kicks either the first or second day. Um, I bought, oh my God, voice crack. I bought pretty high on it. I think I paid like zero point 0.8 for it. And they're actually at zero point 0.8 right now. The high top kicks are not the floor price of 10KTF, but the amount of value that this has driven back to me has been absolutely incredible. I mean, I got on the Gucci Grail mint, and even though that was a 1 ETH mint cost, I still sold it for like 1.8. Like, that's incredible, right? I got airdropped one of the scissors, which was one of the more rare things in the crafting ecosystem. Should have held on to that. Sold it for like 1.2 ETH the morning that it came out. Those went up to like almost 10 ETH, and one of those things that like I am now not fading the 10KTF ecosystem because they just continue to nail it. It is. It is a Beeple brand, right? Guy Osiri is involved in this. Going back to ApeCoin, they actually use ApeCoin in some of their ecosystem to mint some of the products or the NFTs that they have there. It's highly branded. There's a lot of potential for real life merch to kind of be released for people, right? And the essential thing is like 10KTF is all about taking these really high value NFTs and creating digital merch with them, right? So Bored Ape holders were able to take their Bored Ape and infuse it onto a high top sneaker or a backpack or a pair of socks or a hoodie. And then they have the collaborations with the Mutant Apes, the Cool Cats, the, Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult, Cryptodes. Like there's just this huge list of, big brands in the NFT space that are working with them, and they just continue to keep developing, right? Like it's a
Absolutely.
fucking Beeple project. Beeple sold the most expensive NFT ever,
Yeah.
$69 million for,
Yeah.
his 100 days
The project has done
NFT.
a great job at partnering with like most of the blue chips and creating opportunities for holders. Like it's yeah.
Right. And like there was an ApeCoin that an unlock that you claimed if you had a 10KTF item that I completely missed, which again, I faded it again and I wasn't paying
Again.
attention and it was just right there. And
Yeah, I
sure,
mean,
I don't think it was a ton. Like I think I could have unlocked 10 ApeCoin, but
they're in
that's
zero.
$58 or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that and like 10 KTF is probably positioned to be one of the, if not the OG, like, um, or maybe not the OG, but one of the OGs of the storytelling NFT meta too. Like they are, what
Yeah.
they've done and how they've created and rallied the community around the entire project, like with the whole, Mecha versus Kaiju and all that. Like it's so interesting. It's so cool.
Yeah, and even just going outside of the NFT brands, as I mentioned, the Gucci Grails thing, like they have a partnership with Gucci, right? Like this is a real big brand in the world where, again, infusing NFTs that you own, like you could basically throw Gucci clothing on one of your Mutant Apes or your Bored Apes or Oni Force, World of Women. There's another brand, right?
Big names.
Like
Yeah. That yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a bet on Beeple and Guy Osiri, who are two very well known names, two very respected people in not only the NFT space but outside in the art and entertainment space.
Yeah, there just seems to be something about it. I mean, like I said, they just passed their year mark. They're still going strong. They've held up point 0.4 floor on the, on OpenSea. I think at one point they ran up to like a 1.2 ETH floor. So this isn't even a huge drawback from there. You know what I mean? Like we always see like these projects that at some point had a 3 ETH floor. Now they're at point 0.3 or point 0.2, like these 95% pullbacks. This one has held up pretty well, like very low percent listed, and just yeah, I don't know. I'm bullish on them, and I think that I can't like sleep on buying some more of these. I think I'm just gonna have to do it.
Do it.
Do it. All right, man. Well, I don't know. What else do you got? Anything else you want to touch on? You want to chat about?
I think that's it for today. I miss Dirty. I feel like we're totally missing a big section and segment of our show. Like, it feels so empty.
Yeah, he always is like comes in with like a nice hot take or like a really strong quip where he's just like, I just want to punch that guy in the face, and I just don't have that edge, you know.
Hey, well, I know he's a big Zagabond fan, so that would have been a good segment to have on.
So
But
he's an Azuki holder. No, he definitely is not.
definitely not.
He likes the Murray. Murray, yeah. Oh man, I remember those days when they were getting into it about the Azuki
Oh,
versus the Murray and
absolutely.
stuff like that. But
Some heated conversation. I don't think he's a holder anymore. I think they just fumbled the bag too many times for him.
and Murray,
Yeah, the house
yeah,
ecosystem.
yeah, not one that I actually know a whole lot about, but yeah.
I do have big news actually. So I finally was able to get my hands on a Valhalla uh, code. So I was able to
Oh,
join,
nice.
sent in my application. So now I'm literally just refreshing it probably 60 times a day, just trying to see if I got accepted or not yet. So fingers
Fingers
crossed
crossed, man.
now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want that so bad, man.
Yeah, I got to make it a point to be active in that Discord. I feel like just like being a community member is probably going to be somewhat valuable.
Probably.
Um,
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, we gotta do a thing about like more details on that, and maybe like a little bit of a deeper dive. I saw that they're doing content pieces too. Maybe we can try and reach out to somebody and get a
Let's
chat going.
do it. I mean, hey, we have 2 out of 3 hosts that are already in, so We got something going. We
I
got
know you're listening to this, guys. So if you're on the Valhalla team,
yeah, please.
hit me up.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend. On that note, we will wrap up Exit Liquidity episode number 9. We appreciate everyone's time. Again, go hit up exitliquidity.io. I see over 100 people watching these episodes on a regular basis, which is very flattering. Really appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
But we don't have 100 subscribers to the newsletter.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, just go do it. It's it doesn't flood your inbox with something every day, twice a day, like all those things that you end up wanting to unsubscribe about. It's just a good quality twice a week read.
Twice a week
Very
about something you actually care about. So.
for sure, for sure. So, Drip, definitely Miss Dirty, but it was a pleasure doing this with you. Great episode, and we will be back, I think, next Thursday. I think we have that all lined up, and we should all be available for that. And another great episode in the books. So,
Yep. Yep. We'll see you
peace.
guys.
Bye. Have a great time.